Back for the second time to Season 8 finale. Of course, my computer loves to do this for every single race, I think, so far. I think we've hit a nice little streak in terms of our lives. I think it is pretty good how we are doing, but anyhow, if you were not here for the first one that stopped at the same time, then welcome you back to the finale of Season 8. It is going to be the battle for the championship between Limpar Berthold and Ethan Reed, though looks like currently it's going to be hardly a challenge for Limpar Berthold to get that championship win, since Ethan Reed only able to qualify 5th in the AMs. Limpar Berthold in 1st and also in 4th, ahead of people like Matas, Dries Verhulst and Pachola Di Mano. Ben Koo coming out with a great lap time, put himself up into 2nd place and also into 7th altogether. Anthony Camacho currently the slowest driver on the grid for the pros. What is Tom Bartels doing? Not really sure. But anyhow, yeah, a good lap time by Ben Koo, absolutely. And he did a good job to put himself up into 2nd place, which is also a 159.8 for him. Good stuff. Also, Ethan Reed did move himself up from 5th to 3rd. He's now running in 10th place overall. So he might have some sort of chance of fighting for that position, though. I highly doubt it. Ben Koo still improving on his lap time by about a 10th here. Abe Santama as well improving by a 10th. Steve Stevenson not able to really match Abe Santama's time. He's done in 57.8. Abe Santama at 57.7, and that is good job by him, as always. And can we possibly get the stream? Can we get? Can we share the stream without making it go down? This is going to be one of the biggest heists of my life. Oops. Okay, Ben Koo, did he set another lap time? No, he didn't. He's still up in 7th place. Mata is saying he's done 2 valid laps of practice, and he is currently sitting in a very good spot in 6th place, behind Limpar Berthold, but still with a lap time of, well, I had to restart the game. He's done a lap time of 1:59.355, which is indeed pretty good for 2 laps of practice. Abe Santama still trying to improve on his lap time. Steve Stevenson also improving on his time. What is Abe Santama going to be able to do here? He's 3/10 up. He's 2/10 up on his 57.5. I think he's probably a bit... Oh, he should be a lot. He should be pretty happy with that time. But he's going to go and smash it. 157.390. Great lap time by the Porsche 992 driver. There's another Porsche 992 driver waiting and trying to beat his time. He's 2/10 up. But I fear it's not going to be enough for him in order to get that provisional pole or pole position altogether. He needs to improve by over 5/10 here in the last corner in order to be able to beat Abe Santama, which he's not going to do. He's actually falling. He's losing a bit of time, and he's going to be only 2/10 up. I think it's going to be a 157.6 for Steve Stevenson. Yes, it is. He's still 3/10 off, or 2/10 off Abe Santama's time. Pacello Di Mano going up on his time as well. This might be a 59.5, which will put him up on an extra position ahead of Benjamin Koo and just behind Matas Sidikeskas if he's able to get this one stuck. And yes, he does, up to the final little kink, and he is up into 7th place ahead of Benjamin Koo of 59.5. Great stuff by him. Who else is improving on their lap time? It's not showing. I think Tom Bartels is improving on his lap time. It's not really giving us an indication of what his past lap time was. I think a 201.0. He's definitely going to be improving on that one by a lot. Benjamin Koo also improving on his lap time, trying to get in front of Pacello Di Mano for that 7th place. And does it look like it's going to be raining? No, it's just really cloudy. It's kind of simulating real weather over here. It's pretty cloudy in England, and that is where this track is located, on an old RAF base. It's got quite a lot of history to it, obviously resurfaced quite a lot of times, so it doesn't have its old charm, but you can still see the old like airbase. You can still see the runways and everything if you're in the game, so definitely a very historic track. And definitely a fun one to drive as well, though a lot of drivers will disagree with me. And Benjamin Koo, a whole 4/10 up, nearly 5/10 up on his lap time. This will put him not only ahead of Pacello, but even might put him ahead of Matas Sidikeskas, right behind Limpar Berthold, which would be pretty crucial for him if he wants to have a chance to get his win of the season. He's nowhere close to the championship battle, but he can definitely try and interfere with it. If he does make contact with Limpar Berthold, and Limpar Berthold finishes 3rd or lower, and Ethan Reed miraculously climbs up to 1st, well, then we might see Ethan Reed come out as champion today. Now, Benjamin Koo up into 7th place. Mata saying that he switched to YouTube. Twitch was giving him ads. Well, yeah. You know, I do want to earn some money, but you know, I guess you can't spare me 2 pence, 2 cents, whatever. God damn. Tom Bartels also improving on his lap time on 159.440 ahead of Benjamin Koo, which puts 2 cars between him and Limpar Berthold. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Crucially though, is Ethan Reed going to be improving on his lap time? This is going to be his final go, I think, and he needs to get a move on here. He needs to really get to the line as soon as possible, because there's only 1 minute to go. He's on his out lap, and I think the track is actually slowing down a bit, because as you can see, a lot more clouds overhead. Now the track is getting warmer somehow. The track is getting warmer. The ambient temperature isn't. It's like we're back in Kielami. Abe Santama going off on his last lap attempt, and that will be his lap done. So I think he's going to be pretty happy with a 57.3. The closest rival to him, Steve Stevenson, also in the pits, not going to be setting any more lap times. Tiered Pluch is 2/10 down, and his fastest lap time of 158.6. I doubt that he'll be improving by a lot in order to be contending for that provisional pole or for that pole position, and he is indeed a whole second down, so he's not going to be getting pole position away from Abe Santama, and he's going to be staying in 3rd. Well, he's still got another lap, so If he can miraculously get a whole second here, then he will get that pole position, but we'll have to wait and see. Ethan Reed sadly did not make it to the line in time, and I think there was only a couple of seconds to go, and he's not going to be having another go at his lap, and he will have to settle for 4th unless Robert Bezen can do anything to get ahead of him, which would be a horrible day for Ethan Reed then. And Robert Bezen a 2:00.7, Ethan Reed a 2:00.2, so that if he can gain 5/10 here, which currently he's not, and he's actually going to finish his lap time, that is it for the final qualifying of Season 8. And, well, without a shadow of a doubt, of course, it is Abe Santama who takes pole position ahead of Steve Stevenson. And Limpar Berthold takes pole position as well ahead of Benjamin Koo. So that is going to be the AMs right now. And if you do have any predictions that you want to say in the chat, then do let me know. This is going to be probably one of the more quiet races. I doubt that Abe Santama will really have anybody to fight with. And Limpar Berthold will probably run away into the sunset, not to be seen ever again in the AM split. And switching over to the Pro Split if he wishes to compete in Season 9 with the big boys, with Abe Santama and the rest of them. Yeah, it is a pretty long wait time, isn't it? I can't really think of anything else to say. We can probably have a look at the old RAF base right over here. You see the rut. This is, where is it? There it is. There we go. There is the. No, what? Am I going crazy? Yeah. This used to be the 2 runways. This used to be one runway, and this used to be another runway. It looks like they cut through it, because here is the end of it. It would go straight through here, and this runway would go straight through here. It's a shorter runway for the smaller planes, and this one obviously a bigger one with a little helipad on the end. And there you go, a little bit of history about Silverstone. The little kart track here as well. Never really done anything on it. And oh, we are back finally in the actual race. And it looks very sunny, which is good news for all the drivers. Well, at least I think it might be good news for all the drivers. I think Abe Santama wanted rain. But we can have a little walk down through the grid, if it works correctly. It is going to be Abe Santama taking a pole position ahead of Steve Stevenson, who will be starting alongside him, also in the 992. We haven't seen too much of him, but he has decided to join for the last race. Then we got Serhat Pluch in the second row, starting behind Abe Santama. Next to him, Dries Verhulst in the number 4 McLaren 720S. And then behind them is the pole sitter for the M drivers. It's Limpar Berthold in the Ferrari 296. Alongside him, going to be another Ferrari 296 of Matas in the number 10 Ferrari. It is actually going to be a whole 2 rows of Ferraris behind them. Tom Bartels in the number 86 Vgtr eSport Ferrari. He's starting 7th on the grid. And alongside him is going to be Benjamin Koo in the number 92 Ferrari 296. Behind them, Paciolo Di Mano, number 28 Ferrari 296. Starting 9th on the grid. Alongside him as well will be 3rd place starter Gernahari Hutama, number 127 Audi Evo 2. Behind them, Ethan Reed, the supposed championship contender, sadly starting in 4th. Alongside him, Anthony Camacho also in the Porsche 992. He's the lowest starting pro on the grid today. Behind them, Robert Besant in the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2, starting 13th, and next to him, Chris Rise in the Audi LMS Evo 2 as well, the number 21 driver for ZTR. And behind them is the only driver in the old Ferrari, Mohammed Bintang, will be starting last. Well, I think it'll be a pretty chill end to the season. Now, the only thing that won't be chill is tomorrow. Tomorrow will not be chill at Monza. That stuff is not good. What is that? What happens if I put team name? Okay, well, there is no team name. Great. Let us put race gaps, and we'll go to TV camera 1 to see Abe Santama just trying to prepare his car for this race. He said that he has been experiencing quite a lot of tire wear, but not too much graining at all on this car. So we'll see how he manages with that. Steve Stevenson obviously driving the same car as him, so he'll be probably expending the same tire wear from him. It is going to be a mandatory stop today, and it's going to be a mandatory fuel stop with a fixed refueling time, so that is all nice. I think it is just about time for them to start their formation app for the last time in Season 8. As Abe Santama leads the way for the last time here on Silverstone. And he can probably already see his championship. Well, it has already come to an end pretty much for him. Zach Doran not joining us today, and he is the only person who could have possibly fought for that win with him. So he'll be crowned the 4-time consecutive VGTR champion as he drops to the back of the grid, and I think he'll be doing probably a last to first challenge here. I don't know. I don't know how much that is allowed. And there we have the final grid. All just weaving left and right, destroying their tires right before the race. And we can probably start to think about Season 9 more or less here. Are there going to be possible prizes? Maybe there'll be different, more interesting tracks, because I think a couple of people have complained that there has been Paul Ricard on this. The Paul Ricard was on the calendar. Some people have also, I think, said that they don't really like Zandvoort, which is a big surprise for me. Zandvoort, I've never really thought of it as a hated track. Yeah, people always complain you'll never satisfy everyone. Exactly, I do agree that, but maybe a bit more of an interesting season. You know, we've had Monza a couple of times, and I think that's always been an interesting, yet super chaotic race, I feel. But they are lining up side by side for the last time here, coming through the final corner, and well, one only hopes that we can get through this first lap and through the whole race contact less, and maybe without any crashes as well. But Abe Santama will be hoping to get his best start here to fully solidify his championship win in Season 8 as they wait for the green flags to wave for the end, or for the start of this first race. And Abe Santama getting a pretty good start here already ahead of Steve Stevenson, who crashes him out. Oh, wait a minute here. Steve Stevenson absolutely pitting Abe Santama right at the start of the race. Steve Stevenson taking the lead that way. I'm not sure Steve will be too Abe Santama will be too happy with that at all. Sir Plug now going to be running in second. Dries Verhulst in third. Matas somehow making his way up into fourth place ahead of Limpar Berthold and Tom Bartels. Tom Bartels actually did start behind him. Limpar Berthold still hanging up in first place, and it looks like Ethan Reed was caught up in that collision as well with Abe Santama. Well, wow, that was one heck of a start. I was saying how it was going to be hopefully a clean first lap, but looks like Steve Stevenson had some other ideas there, and well, sadly for Abe Santama, he'll be starting. He'll be doing his little comeback here, and his tires will be completely knackered and completely destroyed. Though he will be most likely making a pit stop in the middle to change his tires. Now we can go to Søren Plug, who actually took first place. Steve Stevenson, what is he doing? He's slowing down. I think he might be actually giving the position to Abe Santama here. Chris Rise leaving the race already. Looks like he might have had a not so good start. And Matas yet again making contact with Limpar Berthold. Limpar Berthold tumbling down from first all the way down to second place. And behind him now is going to be a hungry Ganahari Hutama. While Matas, I'm not sure what he's doing at all. Twice now. Twice he's been involved in some sort of accident. But that is going to put Søren Plug in first place for now. Dries Verhulst in second, and Tom Bartels up into third. Benjamin Koo leading the AM split as it stands, and Ganehare Hutama going straight off as soon as I click on him. And off again. Well, what race is it if there are no crashes in Vgtr? No, I will give credit to where it's due to us. I did look at the SRO race, and yeah, I'm very happy with our standards of racing sometimes. Anthony Camacho involved in some sort of collision as well. Mohammed Bintang going straight off, and Anthony Camacho trying to make a move on Steve Stevenson here, and sadly he's just cut off there and not able to make it stick. Abe Santama already up into 8th place, ahead of Steve Stevenson, who decided to slow down and let him through. Matas now going to be trying to make a move on Anthony Camacho. Matas having quite a lot of damage on his Ferrari 296. But that will not stop him from trying to get that position, get that top 10 in the overall race. And Matas braking way later than Anthony Camacho. Anthony Camacho probably getting a bit scared there. And Cyril Pluch sets the fastest lap time, but that is instantly beaten by Tom Bartels, who sets a very good lap time of a 1:59.325. Abe Santama obviously breaking that as well. And Matas now just trying to hang behind Anthony Camacho without making any contact. And there we go, Abe Santama sitting on 58.9. That is his fastest lap time of the race. And Matas just trying to hang on there. Trying to get that better exit than Anthony Camacho and trying to get that position away from the American driver in a Porsche 992. And, well, this is probably the perfect opportunity for him. He's got the straight line advantage of the Ferrari 296, outbraking the 992 as well. And round the outside, Matas goes. A great move by the Lithuanian. But does Anthony Camacho have anything to come back right at him? And, well, for a second it looked like he did. But sadly, not making a move. And Abe Santama making contact with Robert Besson. That led Steve Stevenson through up into 7th place. And now Abe Santama will have to actually fight Steve Stevenson, as he will not be giving up that position anymore, since that was not his fault. And Abe Santama just trying to hang on to the rear bumper of Steve Stevenson 992 as they head through the final sector. The one that I personally find the hardest, especially because of the last 2 corners. You don't really know how to take them correctly. And it looks like Steve Stevenson might have been a bit slower there than Abe Santama, as now they head over to Copse Corner, where a lot of people might be getting their track warnings. But Abe Santama not going to be one of them, as he keeps it on the inside off the white line. I missed Abe being pit crashed off the resulting chaos. Yeah, he got pitted right at the start by Steve Stevenson in the most bizarre nature as well. But Abe Santama now fighting Steve Stevenson to get that position back, as Tom Bartels also in his own battle there. We'll actually have a little look here as he's fighting the McLaren 720S, trying to go around the outside, as Abe Santama now makes a move on Steve Stevenson as soon as I move away from their battle. That is crazy. But Tom Bartels fighting for 2nd place with Dries Verhulst, as Cyril Pluch continues his domination of this race so far. He's already 3 seconds ahead of P2, and just not really caring about what's happening behind him, and actually enjoying the fact that Tom and Dries are fighting here. Benjamin Koo might even get on this battle as well, if he's quick enough to try and capitalize on these two going slower. And Dries making a massive mistake there. Tom is going to be getting so much closer through the final corner now, as he's going to try and get a better exit here. Dries making another mistake, going a bit wide there. And now the run towards the line. Tom Bartels, will he be trying to go to the inside of Copse Corner? Well, I doubt that he will. And Abe getting the fastest lap of the race again. And now Tom Bartels round the outside of Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. I don't think he'll be sending a move there yet. But he could have. He definitely could have made a move. As now Benjamin Koo will be joining this battle. As he's only 6/10 away from Tom Bartels. Tom Bartels just trying to use his straight line advantage of the Ferrari 296 to possibly make a move into this next corner. No, he won't. And now Benjamin Koo getting closer and closer as these two slow each other down. Benjamin Koo going very, very wide. Definitely going to be getting a track warning for that. And ooh, going a bit wide there as a result of Dries just slamming the door on him. Tom Bartels still 4/10 away. As Benjamin Koo also closing that gap as well as quick as possible. Benjamin Koo still leading this race. As Limpar Berthold is trying to make some moves to get closer to him. He is very, very close to the back of Pacello Di Mano. But Tom Bartels will be trying to force a mistake out of Dries Verhulst. As they come through these next couple of corners. Anthony Camacho getting ahead of Robert Besant for 10th place as well. As Ethan Reed, I think, stuck with quite a lot of damage. Is not really catching towards the back of Mohammed Bintang. And I hope his arms don't fall too low. Because, yeah, it is very unfortunate to see him not able to fight for that championship today. But now, Tom Bartels, 4/10 away. As Abe Santama sets another quickest lap time of the race, a whole 158.4. As he's starting to close the gap to Limpar Berthold as well, and I hope that doesn't interfere with his battle with Pacello Di Mano too much. And Ethan Reed starting to close the gap to Mohammed Bintang, as I was saying that he wouldn't, and Tom Bartels getting too close to Dries Verhulst as he's even having to go onto the grass to try and avoid some contact. But now he's going to be alongside him coming into the next corner. And well, for a second I thought he was going to have the full inside, but just not really sticking to the possible overtake opportunity. As Ben Koo also really enjoying this battle. I don't think he'll be making a move on Tom Bartels. I think he'll just try and wait until these two try and take each other out. As Abe Santama gets past Limpar Berthold, and Limpar Berthold gets passed by Steve Stevenson as well, which is good news for Benjamin Koo, as now he's got 3 cars between him and Limpar Berthold. And Abe Santama getting ahead of Pacello Di Mano 2 now. And there he is in the background, just trying to make his way back up to the front. Steve Stevenson gets past Pacello Di Mano now as well for 7th place. Tom Bartels continuing his hunt. Hasn't been too successful in the last couple of laps to get past Dries Verhulst, even though he's had some great opportunities, but he still has 45 minutes to go as Limpar Berthold colliding with looks like Paciolo Di Mano. And that might be good news for Ethan Reed as, well, I'm really not sure. I think Ethan Reed has to win this race. He doesn't just have to finish ahead of Limpar Berthold. He has to actually finish the race first. And Limpar has to not finish it or finish third or below in order to get the championship. So, yeah, I don't think any news for Ethan Reed matter right now, as he is still stuck behind Mohammed Bintang. And he's a whole, what looks like 20, maybe 23 seconds behind Limpar Berthold. Even if Limpar has a ton of damage, we saw last race in Paul Ricard, doesn't really matter for Limpar if he's got a ton of damage or not. He's still able to carry on the race as if nothing has happened. And ooh, Tom Bartels cutting that end of the chicane, the little twisty corners in Silverstone. And then still not able to catch up, even with that cutting. Not able to catch up at all, though I do fear that that did slow him down a bit. So, I don't think he benefited from cutting that corner. And now Abe Santama past Benjamin Koo. Tom Bartels will be next in line to be overtaken here. But I do think Tom Bartels will try and put up a relatively good battle with Abe Santama. I don't think he'll try and make his life too easy. What happened to Matas? He was third. Last I saw him. Well, he was in some sort of collision with Limpar. I'm not sure whose fault. I did not catch that, but he was definitely in a collision there, and he's got quite a bit of damage on his car, and well, he should be pretty happy that he's still running in the race. And Tom Bartels getting caught up quicker, faster and faster by Abe Santama here. Abe Santama only in that 1 second gap now, as he laps about 2 seconds quicker than Tom Bartels per lap. And well, now it's a second quicker, but still I don't think it will be too much of a battle for Abe Santima to get ahead of Tom Bartels here. It will be pretty easy for him as he's continuing his climb to the top, as Serpluch still leading the race ahead of Dries Verhulst and Tom Bartels, setting 59.8, which is actually slower than Dries and much slower than Abe. As Abe, ooh, you did see his wheels were turning the other direction completely. Definitely having some troubles with his car. As Mohammed Bintang sending out the yellow flags. That puts Ethan Reed an extra position up, that is up into 4th place. And now he's got a pretty long road ahead of him to try and get past Robert Besant. And Abe Santima closer and closer, but Steve Stevenson also enjoying this battle because now he has gone closer to Abe Santima himself. We haven't seen too much of Steve Stevenson since that first lap crash between him and Abe. But Steve will be hoping that Abe can get stuck behind Tom for a long time here, long enough, so then Steve himself can get past Abe without too much of a challenge. But Abe Santima now alongside Tom Bartels as they come through in these very difficult parts, and they did make contact and they definitely banged doors, as now Steve Stevenson is going to get into this battle, and they're going nearly 3 wide out of that corner. Steve Stevenson not able to get past Abe, but neither is Abe able to get past Tom Bartels. As this battle continues, and Abe goes for the inside, nearly making contact with Tom yet again. And you can see the desperation in his driving now as he's just trying to get past Tom as quick as possible without letting Steve through. This is probably one of the worst things that can happen to a racing driver, when you have to defend and attack at the same time. And it looks like he's actually fallen away behind Tom Bartels now, 8/10. And now he's going to have to try and keep Steve Stevenson behind him as he's gone super close. And remember, these two are in the same team, Abe and Tom, both in Vgtr eSports. So I don't think Abe will be too happy with Tom after this race. I don't think Tom will be too happy with Abe as well, as he just banishes him into the Shadow Realm for a second there. I'm not sure what that was all about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what desperation looks like. And Tom Bartels going straight for the pits. And it is actually pretty close to his pit window. But he's also going to be pitting for the damage that Abe Santima did cause him. As now Steve Stevenson is also trying his luck to get past Abe Santima, though I doubt that it will be happening anytime soon. Mohammed Bintang also comes into the pits. And in front of them, Dries Verhulst has made a massive mistake and he's spinning through the grass. And he now is down into 4th place. getting just ahead of Limpar Bertol, behind Benjamin Koo. And that was not a good thing by Dries Verhulst. That's definitely hindering his possibilities of getting a good end position, and actually he lost that second place now, which must be quite gut-wrenching. And he comes straight into the pit, so maybe even got damage after that collision. But here comes Matas on Pocholo Domano. Can he get ahead of him into Cop's corner for a second? You might have thought Matas would have made that move. You definitely did think that. But Matas just surprising us, just trying to keep this race entertaining. When will Season 9 begin? In about 2 weeks from now. I just saw that message pop in for some reason. In about 2 weeks from now. So if you are interested, do be on the lookout. It'll be all on our SimGrid page. It will also still feature 6 rounds. All happening on Saturday. All happening every single week, and it will probably stay around the same rules, let's say. And maybe this time though, with prizes still to be decided though, as Matas comes into the pits, so does Benjamin Koo for their first and only mandatory pit stop. I'll have a look. May not be able to attend every race because of my shift pattern. Well, yeah, that is absolutely okay, though. I think you are allowed to skip 3 of the 6 races. So I think you just need to do half the season in order to be able to compete. They won't have... I got spun by Bertold. Oh, so you got spun by him. Okay, so I thought that you made the contact with him. I thought that you were the one who... did the initial thing. Recovery drive mode. Well, he's in 10th place right now. We'll see where he ends up after everybody pits and after everybody gets out of his way. But yeah, there is no entry fee, so it is absolutely free to join. And Matas making a scene by completely spinning out. Great stuff by Matas. And now Limpar Berthold coming into the pits for his mandatory pit stop, his only pit stop that he needs to do. By the way, Ethan Reed has already been in the pits. So we'll see Limpar Berthold is in the pits here. Ethan Reed, well, he's on the other side of the track. But we'll see how close he gets here. As Robert Bezant also comes into the pits, so does Paciolo Di Mano. Here's Limpar Berthold still hanging in the pits. He does have some damage he possibly needs to repair, I'm not sure. As we wait and wait as Ethan Reed coming through the second sector now. Limpar Berthold still in the pits. This is a pretty long pit stop as he probably is fixing the damage to his car. Ethan Reed now coming into the final sector. Limpar Berthold still in the pits. And now he just gets dropped. Ethan Reed, he's on the hanger straight. And well, Limpar Berthold already out of the pits. Benjamin Koo also getting ahead of Limpar Berthold for first place, which is good news for him. Robert Bezant still in the pits as well, as Paciolo Di Mano comes out. And yeah, well, it's pretty unlucky for Ethan Reed. Even after all of these pit stops, he's not able to get back ahead of Limpar Berthold. And well, that was probably one of his only chances he had. Unless he absolutely puts it in the bag, you know, with a super damaged car. If he does somehow miraculously overtake Robert Bezant, then he might have a chance. Possibly. Abe Santama and Steve Stevenson both coming into the pits now as well. It is predicted that they will probably be switching tyres, as tyre wear on the 992 is horrible after the new update. Cyril Pluch will probably be coming into the pits this lap or in the next lap. But let's see, Steve Stevenson, is he holding the fastest lap? Yes, he is. 58.4. Whereas Abe Santama only at 58.6. Abe Santama starting his car and he's out. Steve Stevenson also starting his car. And oh, it is a horrible start for him. He's not going to be anywhere close to Abe Santama as they leave the pits. I think he turned on his car a bit too soon, because if you saw, or if you heard, Abe Santama turned on his car just when he was going to get dropped. Steve Stevenson turning his car on a couple of seconds before that, so hence why he had to start his car again. Well, the race now pretty much, more or less, quiet. I'll say that. The only other person who needs to make a pit stop is Cyril Pluch. And then Abe Santama can possibly try and get closer to him. But we'll see, as I think both Abe and Steve did switch their tyres. As you can see, it is a 30-second pit stop. You know what? Let's go on board with Abe Santama. See how he is driving this lovely Porsche 992. Oh, and Serd Pluch coming into the pits now. He's already stopped. I think he'll be departing quite soon. So here is Abe Santama. Coming to the final corner. Serd Pluch still in the pits. Abe Santama now through the final corner. Well, through the unofficial final corner. Serd still in the pits. Abe Santama now coming to the little kink, and Serd is now only coming out. And Abe Santama, well, I think he'll be catching him actually. He'll be ahead of him. Serd Pluch only out of the pits now. Abe already through Cop's corner, and this is pretty close. There you see Serd. I'm not really sure what happened. Why Serd had such a long pit stop. But that is going to give Abe Santama all the time he needs in order to get ahead of Serd Pluch for first place. And I think it'll be pretty easy, as, well, both Abe and Steve lapping the same amount of times. Same times, I mean. And I think Pluch was slower than both of them at the start of this race, even with Steve's and Abe's collisions. And Abe Santama setting the quickest lap time, but Steve, well, he is not letting that one slide at all. A 158.02 for him. And that puts him at the quickest lap time of this race as well by over 2/10. And Abe now way too close to the back of Pluch. And well, I don't think this is going to be much of a battle at all. As Pluch struggling with his cold tires. Or colder tires. And even though he's on newer tires, I don't think there'll be too much of a contention at all. As now Abe trying to, oh, making massive contact with the back of Pluch. I'm not really sure whose fault it was, because it did look like Pluch stopped pretty suddenly in the middle of the track, though. Yeah, not sure what happened there at all. Happy that these two can continue racing. And that is going to give Steve Stevenson all the time he needs as well to try and gain back on these two. as now they come through the final corner and up towards Cops. Will Abe be able to get past Pluch here cleanly? Or will he be getting another penalty? Which would not be good at all. Not be good at all. But Abe now 4/10 away. Both of these cars slow on the straights. It is the Lamborghini, which got a power nerf but is lighter, and the 992, which is just got a power nerf and nothing else, fighting for the lead. I'm just checking if anybody got a drive-through, and it doesn't look like they have. And Abe Santama now trying his absolute best. It's now alongside and again making contact, door-to-door contact this time. Not too bad at all, but still not doing it too cleanly, are they today? And Steve Stevenson did catch up like a whole second there in that last lap, as Abe still struggles to get past Pluch here for the lead, as Pluch is making it as difficult as possible. But now surely Abe Santama can get past here around the outside. Nope, will not be trying to make a move into Maggots Beckett's Chapel. That would be a horrible sight to see, as Abe having to even slow down a little bit, getting onto the grass. And Steve Stevenson, oh, he's loving this. Getting closer and closer. He's lapping about 1.5 seconds quicker than both of these drivers in front of him. And Abe Santama will, well, most likely have some strong words to say about Pluch. But we'll see. Can Steve Stevenson catch these two and maybe make it a three-way battle for P1? Or will Abe finally be able to get past into this sector? Last time he was alongside Pluch coming into the next corner. But I don't think it'll be this time. I think he'll be trying to hang back a little bit. Maybe go for a little bit of a different strat. Instead of just going into the back of him or alongside him. Now you can see he did get a better exit than last time, though still not helping him out at all, as Steve is now broke the 2-second gap, and I think heading more into the 1.9 second gap, as he's lapping quicker and quicker lap by lap. These two are holding each other back as Steve continues his climb up to these guys, as now he even laps a 57.9, his best lap so far, and that is about 1 second quicker again than Abe Santama and Sir Pluch. Abe actually lapping a whole 700 slower than Sird. Which might indicate that his tires are going off, which is not a good sign at all for him, but it is going to be a great sign for Steve as he continues and continues that battle, hoping to get second place at least away from Abe, as Abe yet again in his desperation mode. We saw last time when he was pretty desperate for position, He made that a lot of contact with Tom. And this time I fear that he is desperate again to get ahead of Third before Steve catches them. And he's closer than ever now, coming through the quick right-hander. And now into the left-hander as well. And oh, you only fear that he's going to try and make a move here. And he's actually done it. He's ahead of Pluch pretty cleanly as well, as Pluch is now going to try and get a better exit out of this corner. And try and hang it behind him. And he's doing so successfully. But I fear and I think that that straight line speed of the Hurricane is not going to help him at all. As look at him, he's not gaining at all heading into the final 3 corners. And Abe can probably call this a job done. As now he only waits for Steve Stevenson to catch the back of Pluch. And Pluch having to focus more on defending than attacking. As now Abe is set free to try and extend the gap between him and Steve, who will be catching pretty quickly. Cholo Demano also in a battle with Anthony Camacho. These two have been going at it for quite a while now. And only 4/10 separates these two. But I think we're going to have to switch over our focus to Steve Stevenson, who has finally caught up to the back of Pluch for 2nd place. As Pluch has actually done a pretty good job hanging on to the back of Abe Santama, also within about a second. But I don't think he'll be hanging to the back of him anytime soon now. As, well, he does have a very hungry Steve Stevenson behind him. He'll be doing all he can to get past. And it looks like Abe still not really not. Oh, Steve Stevenson is. As I was just trying to make a point, Steve Stevenson going very, very wide and off the track fully. But as I was gonna say, it looks like Abe is not really pulling away from Pluch at all. Maybe a possible tire issue for him, as yeah, Pluch still lapping in the 58.6s. Abe starting to go a bit slower, I think, of 58.5 or 58.6, 58.5. Pluch still within that 1 second, that magical 1 second. Yeah, Abe getting more closer to the 59s as Pluck is in the 58.6. So yeah, quite a bit of tire wear I think on that Porsche, which might come in handy for Pluck towards the end of this race. We can head back to another battle with a Porsche 992. It is Paciolo Di Mano with Anthony Camacho. Anthony Camacho most likely also experiencing some sort of tire degradation in these what is Paciolo doing? Did he get a drive-through? Yes, he did. Oh, he got a drive-through for track limits. Well, that is not good news for their battle. Good news for Anthony, though. He will not have to fight him at all. And he can just cruise on to the end of this race, to the end of the season. As Steve making another mistake, hurting his chances of getting past Seared. But it looks like actually Pluch also slowing down a bit. It might have been that back marker getting in their way. Mohammed Bentang. And Steve Stevenson yet again getting very close to the back of Pluch as Pluch is starting to, well, slow down here and there. And then yeah, Pluch only lapping 58.9, Steve Stevenson 58.5, Abe Santama also 58.5, so not a bad job from him. He's finally picked up the pace and yeah, getting way ahead of Pluch now, nearly a 2-second gap now between them two. So gonna be a successful end to the race for Abe Santama as Dries getting super close to the back of Tom Bartos. As did Benku get a drive-through? Yes, he did. And Paciolo Di Mano getting disqualified from the race. Not sure what happened. Maybe he drove into the pits too quickly. Steve Stevenson now too close for Serd's liking here, as he's trying to get that second place away from him, as Abe Santama puts on his lights. And Steve Stevenson trying to hang it round the outside into the final two corners, into the final three corners here. And Serd Pluch just having to go super defensive, trying to not let him by at all. And one might wonder, will Steve try and go on the inside of Pluch into Kopp's corner? No, he won't. Definitely taking a less risky approach, as he knows that he's got about 2 or 3 laps until the end of the race. He can definitely take his time more or less here, but not too much time. And that Porsche probably quicker in a straight line, especially when in the slipstream, than that Hurricane Evo 2. Only gaining about a 1/10 on that straight, so not too quick, not overpowered, not like the Ferrari 296 or the Nissan, but definitely quick enough. As Abe Santama now having to lap Ethan Reed as well, as Mohammed Bintang comes into the pits. Abe Santama having to slow down a bit to try and get past Ethan Reed here. Not sure why Mohammed Bintang is in the pits again. He did not get a drive-through. He didn't even get a stop and go, but regardless, still in the pits. Maybe did underfuel a bit there. There it is, Ethan Reed. You can see how damaged his car is, as Steve Stevenson now trying to line up his last, or maybe, well, yeah, his last attack here into the second to last, into the third to last corner. And a little bit of contact between him and Pluch, but he is now ahead and up into second place. And well, if he does put his foot down, he can try and get past Abe. He has about 2 laps from now. If you say about a 2-minute lap time or a 1:59 lap time, they have about 2 laps to go. There's this lap and the next lap, and that will be it for Season 8, which is both good and bad. You know, both happy and sad that this has happened. You know, we've had a lot of growth. We had a good number of races, especially the opening race was a lot of fun. And the battle between Steve Stevenson and Abe Santama was unreal. Also, other drivers like Paula Lima and Zach Doran also doing a great job in the season. Sadly, did not see the finale at all, or did not come to the finale is what I meant to say. And who knows, maybe next season prizes will be more or less enticing for people to stay around, and we'll get more, I don't know, more competitive driving, who knows? As we will most likely see our way out for Limpar Berthold. He will be heading over to this pro split if he decides to stay. And while Ethan Reed will be glad to see that, as he will be hoping to, you know, as most Ferrari fans say, next year will be our year, and Ethan Reed will most likely be thinking that as well, as he will be trying to get his first championship win for the AM, so he can progress his way up into the pros. As he says, he's not going to be going to the pros unless he wins the AM championship, which is, yeah, a nice mentality to have, I guess. But Steve Stevenson now, I think it is the final lap of the race. And I'm not sure he will be getting past Abe Santama here, unless Abe makes a huge mistake, which, you know what, let's go onto his onboard just to increase the chances of that happening. The last lap in the lead for Abe Santama in Season 8. As he'll be taking his 4th consecutive championship win. And what a season it has been for him. A lot of ups and a bunch of downs as well. At one time, he did not think that he was going to be champion. But as things started to settle down more, and I think by about the 4th or 3rd race, he did know that that was going to be his season yet again, and it is going to be more or less like a Sebastian era for him. Sebastian Vettel era. 4-time consecutive champion. Nearly all in the same car as well. 2 in the Porsches. 1 in the Beamer. Maybe 3 in the Porsches, actually. I'm not sure. But anyway, he's going to come across the line now and win the final race of the season and win his 4th consecutive championship. As Steve takes 2nd place ahead of Serd Pluch. Tom Bartels going to be coming across the line 4th. As Dries Verhulst also getting a bit desperate there in the last lap. You saw him cutting in the corner a bit there, but he'll be also finishing 5th. And Limpar Berthold will also be winning his championship in the AM split. As he's going to come across the line soon to take his 1st place position, his 1st win. Yeah, not bothered about prizes, just good racing. It is mostly good racing here. Last race actually had no penalties at all. So we do have some good, clean, fair racing most of the time. But there is Limpar Berthold coming across the line to take his win and to take his championship win as well. It was a pretty good season from him. Did switch from the Nissan to the Ferrari, and ever since that change, absolutely unbeatable, even with his damage, even with his collisions. He has not been beaten at all. And well, that is pretty much the end of that sprint season for now. Thank you so much for watching this race. Thank you so much to our sponsors as well, HS Sim Racing, who provide great quality sim racing products, all sort of accessories, and they make some of the best wind tunnel products as well. Also, thank you to Formula Setups for sponsoring our league as well. They make also some of the best setups in ACC right as of this update. I think I've been using them personally quite a lot. Abe Santama also been using them when he drives the Ferrari 296 and the Porsche 992 as well. And great setups. I'll definitely give them a thumbs up, a big old thumbs up. And also the Vgtr store, which is vgtrleague.co.uk. And indeed, 6 hours of Monza tomorrow. It is the 2nd race of the Endurance Championship. Who will we see on top? So far, Powell and Lukjan have been taking the 1st place. A very dominant win as well in the opening race. And then it was also the VGTR team, the VGTR Pro team, I think, in 3rd place. and the Black Panthers in second. But thank you so much for watching the race, and I hope to